Hello and welcome to In Case You Missed It. I'm Louise Watt. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of Taiwan's diplomatic allies, the tiny Pacific island nation of Tuvalu. It's not only small, it's also low-lying, which means it's on the front lines of climate change. But if the worst happens and its land disappears under rising sea levels, can Tuvalu still exist? That's the question the country is grappling with, and I went to find out how. One of the smallest countries in the world, Tuvalu is putting its culture on show to celebrate its 45th Independence Day. But this anniversary is also looking to the future. It marks the start of a new constitution designed to protect that culture and the nation as a whole by addressing the reality that Tuvalu is sinking. Most of its land is no more than 2 meters above sea level, meaning Tuvalu could be the first country in the world to disappear due to rising sea levels. If that happens and Tuvalu's 11,000 people have to migrate elsewhere, the government hopes that even without a physical territory, a new definition of statehood will mean the country can still exist.
And we're saying that the statehood encompasses our history, our culture, and that will continue to exist in perpetuity, regardless of the impacts of climate change.
Tuvalu is asking its allies to accept this legal definition, and 10 already have, including Taiwan. The government says its new constitution is about future-proofing Tuvalu, having it recognized in international law as a state even with no land, so it can protect its assets, like its fishing rights. That would mean Tuvalu could still get income from giving foreign vessels rights to fish in what has been defined and internationally recognized as its waters. The new definition of statehood has support from people within Tuvalu.
I think that is a good idea to have that as a recognition of what we Tuvaluans were, because that holds a lot of identity for the Tuvaluans, the cultural heritage for Tuvaluans, and a home for the Tuvaluans.
So if their land is lost in the years to come, Tuvaluans hope their tangible culture, like these dances, will live on. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus. I saw with my own eyes how land is disappearing in Tuvalu and how people who live there worry their homes could be next. This is an islet off the capital of Tuvalu, one of the smallest countries in the world. And if you've heard of Tuvalu, it's probably because of its climate change challenges. And demonstrating those, what I'm standing on right now is sand. But just 10 years ago, it used to be land. And on this land was this house. And the owners kept moving the house back and back. But in the end, they'd had to abandon it because it's no longer on land. The land is now behind it. And the people who live in homes behind this one, just a few meters away, they're worried about, well, what will happen in another 10 years' time? Will they lose their homes as well? And they say this should be a wake-up call to the rest of the world to get their act together, to stop temperatures rising, to stop sea levels rising, because they say they don't put out emissions like industrialized nations, and yet they say here in Tuvalu, they're seeing the biggest effects from climate change. Klein Wong and Louise Watt in Tuvalu for TaiwanPlus. Tuvalu doesn't have a single ATM and most of its islands don't have phone lines. But the nation is also trying to future-proof its existence by creating a high-tech copy of itself, a backup nation. 28-year-old construction manager Angela Tofulo is constantly worried about the health of her daughters. They live in Tuvalu, one of the lowest-lying countries on Earth, and the road in front of their home is regularly flooded with dirty water, a result of seawater bubbling up through the porous ground.
Sometimes it goes right up and then it floods inside the church. Sometimes it reaches in the house and also the preschool, the kindergarten, yeah.
And there's little she can do to stop it. In the years to come, Tuvalu and her family could lose not just their house and their neighbourhood, but their entire country. Tuvalu, with a population of less than 12,000, is one of the world's smallest nations, just 26 square kilometres across its 9 atolls, and waves are eroding its coast. This concrete base of a World War II anti-aircraft gun used to stand on land. Now it's about 20 metres from shore, showing how sea levels have already risen. Scientists estimate that the whole of Tuvalu could be submerged by the end of the century. And so the government is trying to address that by creating a digital copy of the country, meaning it would be the first nation to exist in the metaverse. Tuvalu has already used land survey data and drone footage to create a virtual copy of its smallest island. And despite difficulties with internet connectivity, it now wants to bring it to digital life.
We're looking at not just recording, digitizing our culture and our history, but presenting it in a way that is attractive and it's appealing to people. And this is where we want to use platforms like the metaverse, for example, to be able to recreate both a virtual copy of the physical territory, but also uploading artifacts, people in that space telling stories and even teaching the language.
Kofe says it's the responsibility of the government to prepare for a worst-case scenario. And by migrating into cyberspace, Tuvalu will still be able to offer its people a shared existence, even if they have to abandon their territory. But the government is also reclaiming land, and some here believe that should be the focus rather than a digital future.
We have to physically do something more concrete to maintain Tuvalu on the map in a way of looking at developments of raising up Tuvalu instead of fully relying on digital world.
Worried about climate change, many Tuvaluans are already emigrating, which, for mother of 3 Tuvalu, underscores the need for a backup digital nation.
If everyone moves out of this island, if it's gone, at least we have our culture and identities to carry with us. So when we go, we not only just go and live in strange islands or strange countries, but at least we have an area of our own that looks exactly like home, and we practice everything that we have learned here and we take it with us.
It's Tuvalu's National Day, and people are recording what they can of the festivities. A heritage passed down through songs and dance, now being preserved in digital memory. So Tuvaluans can hold on to their shared identity as they strive to exist against the rising seas. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus. Tuvalu is one of the few remaining countries that recognizes Taiwan as a state, and one Taiwanese artist is trying to help the country combat the threat to its existence. This is Tuvalu, a remote Pacific island nation about halfway between Australia and Hawaii. This collection of low-lying coral atolls and reef islands is in danger of disappearing because of rising sea levels. But this is supposed to help prevent that. These are mangroves planted as both an art installation and a response to global warming. Aiming to raise awareness, this is the brainchild of Taiwanese artist Vincent Huang. He's planted 3 plots of mangroves in different parts of Tuvalu, one in the shape of a QR code, which can be scanned from above, giving people information about the impacts of climate change around the world. He says mangroves, which can help reduce coastal erosion, are the most ecological way to protect Tuvalu.
可以降低海沙掏空国土的流失， Tuvalu 到目前为止已经流失了将近1/10的领土。
In the past 15 years, Tuvalu has planted tens of thousands of mangroves. But those projects, like this one, highlight the challenges, as strong ocean currents keep pulling young mangroves away. It's a problem seen across Tuvalu. Higher tides, more intense cyclones and longer droughts mean it's harder for mangrove seedlings to take root. So beyond art, this installation also serves as a reminder of the precariousness of Tuvalu's own existence. Klein Wong and Louise Watt in Tuvalu for TaiwanPlus. It's hard to grow much in Tuvalu because of poor soil. Taiwan is helping to feed more mouths in the country, though, with the help of a special garden. 69-year-old Selina Kalisi prepares lunch in her home in Tuvalu. Raw fish is an everyday meal in the tiny South Pacific nation, but less common are the freshly grown vegetables she mixes it with.
Usually buy tomatoes, cucumber. Sometimes we have spring onions. We have English cabbage and Chinese cabbage.
The vegetables are from a special garden a short walk from Kalisi's house. But the small plot isn't run by Tuvaluans. A team of Taiwanese agricultural experts grows crops here, including radish, pumpkin and papaya, with seeds from Taiwan, more than 7,000 kilometers away. The project is funded by the Taiwanese government, in a country where a quarter of the 11,000 people have diabetes, and almost 3/4 are overweight.
以前他们都只吃饭跟只吃鱼啊，还是香肠类的东西、冷冻食品类的东西。所以我们借由这个3个农场生产的蔬菜，提供给当地居民去均衡他们的饮食。
The foreign produce is a welcome boost, as this small, low-lying nation grapples with the effects of climate change. In Tuvalu, not only is land limited and the soil infertile, but rising sea levels mean the soil has salt in it and land is more frequently flooded. So the team in this garden make their own soil, and when they plant the vegetables, they raise them up from the ground. Taiwan runs 3 gardens just like this in Tuvalu, one of its few official allies. Most other countries have diplomatic ties with China, which claims sovereignty over Taiwan and exerts influence to keep it isolated among the international community. Projects like this are seen as Taiwan's way of giving back to its friends. There are more than 30 kinds of fruits and vegetables in these gardens, producing a total of 5 tons of food per month for Tuvaluans.
All the vegetables before were imported. Now you can buy some of them, locally. So it's a bit cheaper now, So it's really helping the food intake for the people of the country.
Vegetables from the Taiwanese gardens are sold at a twice-weekly market in the capital, Funafuti, with some buyers queuing for hours before it opens.
I come to buy this because this helps us stay healthy. Capsicum is the most that I wanted because it makes the taste of the food yummy.
For Tuvaluans, these specially grown vegetables offer not just a balanced diet, but seeds of hope for the next generation, fostering strength as they gear up to face the threats to their country's existence. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus. Thank you for watching. In case you missed it, remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, here's some more images of Tuvalu. I'm Louise Watt. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus. For more stories from the Pacific nation of Tuvalu and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.